told you all it was gonna be really fast. I did sub out Ben for Arnie. So say hi to Arnie. It's been a while since we've seen each other.
I know,
since we've
it's
hopped
been
on. Yeah.
like 3 years pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's almost like something happened in those 3 years.
Yeah, I wonder what could
We
happen.
are on round 5, so this is our final round before we go into top cut. So both of these players are X1, and they are very, I guess it's close to what the standard is for this meta as you could get to. It is going to be Matt Alcina versus Vincent Espino. So honestly, like, you look at it and you're like, yep, that's the team.
Yep.
Yeah, you're like, that's VGC right now.
Yep.
I will say, there is no Dodonzo.
No.
There is no Tatsugiri. So, I mean, that really only leaves like 3 other Pokemon for you to
Which
guess
you could
what it's
probably
going to be.
figure out. I think it's pretty close to a mirror match. There's a couple substitutions.
Yeah,
but...
I'm gonna have to figure out how many puns I can make for Make It Rain. If that's any indication to you whatsoever.
Yeah, I gotta take a guess here.
You know, it kind of sucks because it's like, I always look forward to making puns for Pokemon stuff, but it's just like, they're writing themselves these days.
I know,
right?
they really are. Like
it's so unfortunate.
Goldengo, Palafin.
Look, I saw Goldengo, and so this is before I like even got to that part in the game. I saw it and I was like, there's no way that's a Pokemon. Not at all. And they were like, yeah, no, that's actually fun. I was like, what the heck is happening? Like, it's the designs for this generation are there. I usually love all Pokemon designs.
Yeah.
The designs for this generation, I either love them or I hate them.
Yep,
And
I feel the same way.
Toadscroll? Absolutely not. I can't. I saw it. I saw that TikTok of like that Toadscroll like running around. I was like, no.
Oh, I saw that too.
I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I'm blocking this now from my feed.
It's literally just Squidward.
No.
Like that's what it looks like. Right?
Yeah, but
like
I don't want to throw up every time I see Squidward. I saw this and I was like,
no.
can't do it. The weird Diglett thing from this form and Wiglet, I can't. Wiglet? Oh god, it was fine, right? I was like, okay, this is okay, and then it evolved, and I was like, oh, you're going to the box forever. I don't want to see you forever now. I'm just like, you know what? If I ever play against one, I'm just gonna concede immediately.
That's it. That's the key. Is to annoy the heck out of your opponent with weird stuff. But like going back to these teams, at least, you know, Goldengo is one of those Pokemon I think people were like, oh, this is a weird looking Pokemon, but dang, does it hit hard. It does. It really does. And it's got good all around stats when it comes to speed and its defenses, plus obviously that massive special attack stat.
Yeah,
it's just a good fit for whatever. If you're missing like a 6th slot, it's a really good pick just in general because it can work in so many different modes.
Look, it's one of those, it's like that meme where you're just seeing the guy who has like that leak in the tank and it's just like, just slap a Goldengo on your team and you're A-okay.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That's pretty much what Goldengo is.
I mean, even on its own, right? Like, it's such a threat of a Pokemon. Like,
it really is.
If you Terra Steel it 9 times out of, like, you know, like a good chunk of the time, it's like all of a sudden Make It Rain is just doing such massive amounts of damage. And it's so wild too because, like, you're in a format, right, where something like Skeledurge is also kind of popular. And so something like Unaware is like, oh, I'm going to ignore the stat changes, which means when your special attack drops as Goldengo, it also ignores that. And it's like such a weird double-edged sword in this format where there's a lot of good hard-hitting moves. But there's also like abilities that are just like, oh yeah, you did that. I don't perceive it. I don't know that happened.
Yeah, like in this format so far, we're seeing so much like I'm seeing a lot of creativity. I mean, just from the matches I've seen, matches I've been watching, there's a lot. Obviously, you have the common Pokemon, Goldengo, Dodonzo, all of these, but then the remaining slots usually are filled with something creative. We've been seeing a lot of Meowscaradas. We've been seeing a lot of... I saw Dragonite a lot, obviously. Which I feel like there's a lot of Pokemon that, like, once you get your base, there's so many different options for creative strategies.
I will say, like, my counter argument to that is I feel like there's been a lot more Meowscarada and Dragonite because, like, especially like with Meowscarada, the fact that you have Flower Trick, guaranteed critical hit, you got the Terra Grass type, and even with Dragonite too, though, because like Dragonite has always like had that sort of awkward phase where it's like it has the potential to be great, but now with Terra typing, right, it's in that tier now where you're able to say, hey, you know what? We can make this really good because all of a sudden you have a hard-hitting thing that can like go for extreme speed, outrage. In a world where fairy types exist and you don't see as much of them anymore, dragons are suddenly like the biggest contender here, right? You know, you've got Hydreigon, you've got Garchomp, you've got Dragonite, and you've got sort of this triple threat again where all of a sudden it doesn't matter that you have like fairies running around. You can click Dracometer and things will get knocked out.
Yeah, and also you can add on the terrestrializing, and we've seen Dragonite a lot of times terrestrial to normal. You see Hydreigon terrestrial to steel, Garchomp terrestrial to ground. You get rid of those weaknesses which Dragon brings, but still keep the benefits of it. And that has been such a massive massive game changer, and that's I think why we're seeing a lot of these. Another interesting mon I've been saying a bit, not as much, but Baxcalibur, the pseudo legendary from this format. I think we were talking about it earlier, how it's basically one big Godzilla reference.
Yeah, one of the people who is with Power Gaming Troy was showing me the clip where it was from, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is kind of great now. Like, but I do agree that there's some instances, right, where like you have room for creative building, because I think for me the biggest thing in this format is you have so many moves that deal spread damage, so wide guard is all of a sudden a popular option again. But the pool of Pokemon that you have that have access to that just aren't as great. And so we are actually going to be getting into these match here as our players connecting. So you'll have Matt versus Vince. So they are both X1. Once they've already seen each other's team sheets, they're going to know this is pretty close to a mirror, and like we said, pretty close to a standard team that you would have seen probably lately. I know Dodunzo has been a lot more popular in terms of like laddering, and again, it's just a menace to deal with, but you are going to be looking at, I want to say this is Matt's team that you're looking at right now.
Yes, I believe it is.
Yes.
And Matt's team's got Murkrow, Goldengo, Hydreigon, Garchomp, Sylveon, and Meowscarada, which we were talking about earlier. While Vincent's team's got Garchomp, Murkrow, Hydreigon, Goldengo, but the variations here, Mousehold and Arcanine. And Mousehold is a menace.
I love Mousehold. Like I was saying earlier, like I remember seeing it out in the field in the game, and I was like, what are those? Catch it!
I love it. Its design is one of my favorites just because it's so like cute. It's adorable. It's absolutely adorable.
I'm a big proponent of cute but deadly, hence why I love Mousehold and I love Tinkaton.
Yes.
But I actually really think that here, like their builds on their Murkrows are really interesting, right? Because again, they have open team sheets. So one Murkrow has a Covert Cloak, and the other Murkrow actually has Eviolite, which I know people are like sort of slowly moving towards, and I think that's one of the fun things about formats changing and evolving, is that you will see things change slowly, even in like same type Pokemon.
And we're going to see that Sylveon and Meowscarada lead on Matt's side, with Vince leading with Arcanine and Mousehold. Off the bat, looking at this, I feel like Mousehold obviously is a pretty big threat. We've seen Sylveon, it's usually Terrace to Fire, sometimes can Terrace to Steel. I think this one Terrace to Fire here, but so that's not going to really help. I think Population Bomb's kind of a threat. Meowscarada doesn't... It's going to really come down, I think, if Meowscarada can one-shot it, because if not, Mousehold can basically click Population Bomb on whichever one of Matt's Pokemon knock it out, and then Arcanine's going to be able to pick off whichever of the two it doesn't.
There we go. Yeah, so we're going to see a Terrasilize into Grass. I think what you said, because Population Bomb is such a threat, right? You want to guarantee a knockout here. And so going for sort of like that guaranteed extra boost with that critical hit to just get rid of that Mousehold. Garchomp is going to come into place here for that Sylveon.
And we're going to see a Terrestrial. I think we said this was Grass Terrestrial here on the Meowscarada. Definitely want to boost that Flower Trick so it can knock out the Mousehold. Now the question is, will it? A huge Mousehold's pretty fragile. I mean, and especially with the critical hit and Terrestrial boost, I think this will be enough, but... It
usually is. Yeah. I think it should. So we are going to find out here. It just... You know, you don't really, I think, make your Mousehold like that bulk because there's no really reason to.
Oh, it lives
is that? No, I forgot to look at it. Oh my god!
But it's gonna go down to the rough skin from Garchomp here.
Jeez! Oh, that would have been an insane turn otherwise, because that Mousehold is going to be running a wide lens, right? It's very rare that you would run anything else otherwise. But Arcanine's Flare Blade's going to that Meowscarada, gonna activate the actual Focus Sash, not the pretend Focus Sash.
Not Mousehold's fake sash, but Meowscarada now in a bit of a pickle here because it's down to 1 HP. It still should be fastest, but we've seen... I mean,
extreme speed!
Exactly, extreme speed on Arcanine, and obviously there's other options because... And yeah, this Arcanine does have extreme speed. Even if it didn't, you can go into Murkrow and cook Tailwind, and there goes. But we're going to see Hydreigon. Pretty smart here because I believe this Hydreigon... Okay, so Garchomp most of the time outspeeds. Hydreigon could possibly outspeed. So it's basically one of those matches where you don't know the speed, you gotta figure it out. Whichever one can get a Dragon move off first is gonna be able to pick up the knockout. Meowscarada's gotta switch if it wants to survive.
Look, there's only one nature for Garchomp that probably can't outspeed a Hydreigon, and Matt's about to find out if... Oh, actually, Vince is about to find out if that is the one that this Garchomp has, right? I mean, I guess you could protect here, but you're gonna lose this Meowscarada, like no matter what at this point, to like that extreme team. But
I'm gonna protect here. Okay, so possibly baiting that Meowscarada, trying to switch out, get into this better position. It knocks off Hydreigon's item, which is the Hot-On Berry. And we're going to see Garchomp go first. Try to attack the Arcanine with a Stomping Tantrum.
Oh,
Not going to
hurt. This Draco Meter is going to
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, no, Tailwind. Okay.
Hydreigon needs a Tailwind, which is...
I agree with that more.
That was actually that was a smarter play, yeah. But now Matt is in a tough spot because not only is Meowscarada down to 1 HP, he's also... okay, we're interesting there. But not only is his Meowscarada down to 1 HP, but he's now slower than practically all of Vince's team. I don't think anything on Vince's team is relatively slow, so you basically have to try and get your speed up, or like play priority moves, or just position yourself so where you can avoid Tailwind, because Vince's team has practically covers for everything on Matt's team, and we saw that Sylveon potentially coming out.
Okay. So Vince is withdrawing that like Hydreigon right now.
Yeah, which probably there's the Goldengo, which is basically like you click, make it rain, and just spam that until you knock everything out.
Here's my favorite thing about this. The Goldengo has an air balloon. Normally you'll see some Goldengo go for a Terrastalized flying type, but this Goldengo has an air balloon.
Which actually isn't terrible.
No, it's not, because at least you can save yourself with that Terra typing still. So Meowscarada goes down to that extreme speed. Oh no, it did 1 HP of damage.
But also puts it in a tough first position for Matt, because he's no longer can Terrastallize. Vince still does have his Terrastramon available, whichever one he wants to use, but that could, and I mean, it could be Goldengo here, just Terrestrial Steel. Although it is common for Sylveon to Terrestrial in the fire, you don't have to worry about that now, so you basically get a free Make It Rain. Sylveon can't really do anything because of that Meowscarada Terrestrializing on Matt's side, so I don't know. I think Vince kind of like put himself into his really solid position. It's going to take a lot for Matt to come back from this.
Yeah, that Mouth Shoulder like is such an interesting threat, right? And I think not being able to pick up that knockout immediately on it kind of just like unfortunate. Yeah. Because then you have to, well, it doesn't like actually really matter about whether that happened or not, because it still knocked itself out with that rough skin. But that turn one would have happened that way, like almost no matter what.
Yeah. Just that Meowscarada going down to 1 HP was kind of a waste, and then the Tailwind or being able to pick up that Tailwind from that Hydreigon, that really helped. And there's the Terrestrial Steel Goldengo, which is kind of what we thought. Arcanine going for a Snarl, which is smart because both of these are special attackers on Matt's side, and that, I mean, Make It Rain, Terra Steel, that's it. Like, I don't think either one of these.
It's payday for Vince, essentially.
Hydreigon lives it. Okay, that's actually interesting, because with Hydreigon living this, it could potentially go for a Dark Pulse here, or
but you don't pick up a knockout on anything here.
Yeah, I mean, here's Draco Meteor. You could the best thing is you can chunk Goldengo, but since it's terrestrial and is holding the air balloon, you're pretty much like in. And
you're a life orb, right? So honestly, like it's just kind of rough, because right now what's happening is like even if that Arcanine like hadn't survived, right? There's like the Hydreigon on the back. You still have Tailwind. Like unless somehow you can set up a Tailwind here, you're still sort of in trouble, because you have to. So you double protect here, maybe?
I mean, I feel like if Matt Tailwind, he's gonna forfeit. I feel like if Matt used Tailwind there, yeah, so I don't think there's anything that would have. I mean, maybe you could Dark Pulse combo it with, then pop the air balloon and get rid of the Goldengo, but then you still have to deal with 2 Pokemon and whatever Arcanine can do. I feel like that's what I would have done. But
his Hydreigon doesn't have Protect.
No. I think that, I think that's Tailwind. Yeah, if Matt just Tailwinded, then I got to double down on the Goldengo, and then I think that's okay. Well, okay, hold on. There's the I still think it's pretty much game, but maybe that Arcanine Protect will make a difference.
Imagine if I missed the Hydreigon. That would have been wild. It's unfortunate, right? Because that turn with the Hydreigon tailwinding puts it firmly in Vince's position, because now you're in a spot where like, oh, you're able to like do like, hey, it's cool that like Stomping Tantrum will do double damage next turn and that tailwind is gone, but honestly, like, what I mean, you know what? Oh yeah, it just sucks because like the Goldengo has that air balloon still.
Yeah, so
that's the problem.
Best bet is the Dragon Claw, like Matt's doing here. And
just pop it, but like now you're a single target taking single target Make It Rain.
It's over.
I mean, you're at -2 special attack, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's like not terrible.
But even if it lives, then you could just Extreme Speed on Arcanine and call it.
Hydreigon? Watch. Yeah. You catch the Hydreigon in with like the But I mean, it's still a really good, smart idea for Vince, right? Because it's not gonna matter how much like damage you're doing here in that instant, because now the Goldengle still has that air balloon. It still has like the Terrastalize. You don't have enough firepower as Garchomp to be able to get rid of it, because if you weren't able to pop that air balloon in this instance, you know, you can't Earthquake, and it wouldn't even matter because the Hydreigon also has Levitate. So like, yeah, Earthquake just not doing anything really.
And that was, we saw that Arcanine carries Extreme Speed, which did about 50 damage. That's enough to knock out the Garchomp. It's game from that. Vince is gonna take this match here.
Yeah.
And Goldengo gonna protect just in case, but I mean, I don't blame him for that.
I mean, you know, I don't fault people for doing something like that, because I think there's always you should always play, like for me, I think you should play to like what will safely guarantee you a win, right?
Exactly.
Like you never know what could happen. Some weird, crazy stuff might like occur.
It has. We've seen it a lot in tournaments. So yeah, I don't blame Vince at all for doing that. I think that was definitely the right call.
So now you're in this spot, I think, if you're Matt, trying to figure out how, like, at what point do you bring your own Hydreigon to sort of like match that Tailwind, right? Or like, do you bring a Murkrow instead, right? Because Murkrow, at least you'll get the guaranteed sort of Tailwind in there.
I think Murkrow's a pretty Murkrow's really solid. I feel like the thing here is I'm looking at Matt's side, like. You have a couple Goldengo and Mousehold combo is a real, it's not necessarily together, but like just bringing both in is really tough, because Population Bomb and Make It Rain make it tough for any team, and Matt's team specifically does not really have anything that can like one-shot either because of that air balloon. If it did, and obviously I'm assuming Goldengo like terrestrializes, that's it. Like there's so much that it makes they can't hit with a Dark Pulse, can't hit it with any ground moves, don't really have a fighting move to knock out the Mousehold right away, because we saw Flower Trick. That's probably like your best bet, and that didn't quite work. So I think you kind of have to just play around speed and speed control, because if you are able to say that it was the same leads, but Matt instead put in a Murkrow, you'd have the speed control, and then you'd be able to do basically the same thing that Vince did in the last game. So I think this is a really like speed control match, especially because when it's a mirror, positioning is key. So I think it's going to come down to whoever can position themselves in a better spot, and these leads are going to be very interesting, because if we do see like Mousehold again, and we saw Mousehold Arcanine, if we see that again, but then Matt say goes for a Murkrow,
you need something that's basically like a free Tailwind.
Yeah,
Matt, right?
and I think here like.
And that's actually the instance where I actually think that something like Eviolite is actually preferable on Murkrow, because you're at least... I mean, but here's the thing, right? You have Prankster on the Murkrow. So if you guarantee yourselves that Tailwind, then you have to make sure that you're able to capitalize on it, because that's the biggest thing, right? Like, if you can, even if you position yourself in a spot where like you have the speed advantage, if you don't capitalize on those turns, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter much, because then all your opponent has to do is wait until they're able to safely bring in their own Tailwind setter and then reverse it onto you.
Exactly. So then, I mean... I've got a feeling we're going to see something similar to the last
I don't think
match,
there's anything wrong with bringing Arcanine Mousehold, right? Because there's not, you're not going to... You're going to have to wait, like, oh, are they going to, like, do the Garchomp thing? But...
Oh, we can see Murkrow and Arcanine, which I guess makes sense. And then Hydreigon Meowscarada, I feel like that is... It's like a blessing and a curse for Matt, because you could definitely switch to Meowscarada knowing that Arcanine is probably going to be able to hit it. Hydreigon here could do some massive damage with a Draco Meteor, but especially because it's Life Orb, but Vince most likely, there's nothing stopping a Tailwind here. And that, like we were saying, is key. Actually, very interesting picks from Matt here. Yeah, I think...
Do it, Matt. Do it.
That's smart. Okay.
Look, because he can guarantee the Trick Room, right? Yeah, you guarantee yourself the Trick Room
really
here, because
smart.
Arcanine, like if you're Vince, you're probably expecting Matt to switch out for with like the Meowscarada, but you're gonna be able to guarantee.
The only thing is if Vince double downs on this Meowscarada, goes for Foul Play and a Flare Blitz.
We'll see exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah, Arcanine
the Flare Blitz. And there you go.
Yeah,
that Murkrow is not Prankster, so.
So, yeah, I mean, like, Murkrow decided, hey, I'm not going to Tailwind, actually, this turn, so, you know what?
Yep, there it is.
We're just going to get rid of that Mascot instead, so Matt actually still in a kind of terrible position. So, honestly, if Vince was like, I see your tricks, I see your team sheet, I know you have a Trick Room, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to knock out that Meowscarada.
Yep.
Honestly, like, it's rough, because, like, Matt gets the Garchomp in for free, or, like, you know, at the cost of the Meowscarada, which, honestly, that Meowscarada is such a heavy hitter for most teams that, like, I don't even know if it's, like, worth it.
I think in this case, that Hydreigon's really a solid play, actually, because even though you lost the Masquerada, that Hydreigon's gonna be able to Tailwind. If Vince Tailwinds as well, it's basically no change. And here, that Arcanine can't really do anything. I mean, it can Extreme Speed, but like, that's not gonna be able to pick up a knockout on Hydreigon. So your base, and then Hydreigon is really powerful. Can go for all of these.
Hydreigon can come out here too for Vince.
Oh, it's Goldengo.
Oh.
Okay, that's smart because if they're expecting a Draco
an
Meteor,
Earthquake or stuff like that too.
Yeah,
I love this air balloon on this Goldengo.
That's actually really. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that more often because I've seen so many people use ground as a counter for Goldengo. That
look at this. This is great. I honestly like that's a really solid switch out from Vince. You know, understanding like, hey, Arcanine's kind of a threat for you here, but I'm going to Tailwind and I can switch out this Goldengo here. Hydreigon matching Tailwind, so it's a net like you know, it's like it's neutral essentially here. But I think still.
Actually, I think Matt's in a solid position. You can go for a double down on the Goldengo. I mean, well, Hydreigon could carry Heat Wave or Dark Pulse, right? So, I think if you go for Heat Wave, you can pick up. That's like if you want to damage the Murkrow, but then if you want like guaranteed here, you could Dark Pulse and double down the Goldengo.
Or you can Fire Terastallize for the Heat Wave.
And that would probably pick up the knock on Goldengo, and then Garchomp can go for, I think, could go for Dragon Claw onto that.
I mean, like Garchomp has like an easier time now of like of getting rid of some of the stuff, right? So like maybe at the end of the day, like Meowscarada going down the turn actually kind of helps you because then it's just like Hydreigon is just like, hi, I'm here for free, and I'm here to breathe fire on everything.
Yeah. I feel like with, I don't know if Vincent can really do.
Well, he can protect.
I mean, obviously, but I'm thinking about what other Pokemon that he has that can really counter
like
that fire.
Murkrow takes that so nicely.
Murkrow is bulkier than people give it credit for, but it's probably going to go down the Heat Wave here against Terrestrial. It may live it, but I feel like if you're Vince, you kind of want that Murkrow.
Oh, is that what Heat Wave looks like? This is my first time seeing Heat Wave in this generation. I was like, oh, that's what it looks like. That's kind of cool. I mean, you're actually like in a really awkward spot now, right, as Vince, because one, I mean, sure, you get the Intimidate down into the Garchomp, but Clear Amulet's gonna stop that. Hydreigon's just like, I don't really care about my special attack. Sure, lower it as much as you want, see if I care. Your Hydreigon's slower than your Garchomp, so Earthquake won't hit the Goldengo on this turn. And Goldengo, I'm not sure of its speed compared to Hydreigon right now, right? But either way, like it's in that really unfortunate spot where it's gonna take super effective damage from like that Heat Wave.
And then Arcanine in a tough spot because it's also gonna take super effective damage from Garchomp. I think a Heat Wave Terrestrial Hydreigon will pick up a knockout on Goldengo. I think it's because that Terrestrial there. I don't know for a fact. I have a feeling. Oh, we're going to see Goldengo switch out, and pretty sure that Garchomp here is going to outspeed Arcanine.
Oh, Garchomp.
Okay, Garchomp. It's not a bad play. Yeah, it's really not a bad play. It's Dragon Claw goes right in the Garchomp slot. They predicted that switch out very well. Rough Skin, gonna damage Matt's Garchomp, but it's not really gonna matter too much because I've got it. It looks like here there's a Heat Wave. As long as that hits on Vince's Garchomp, then that Garchomp is gone, and it does. Arcanine goes down to half, which I believe it is carrying Citrus Berries. So you can activate that as well. I think here, yeah, it's. I mean, your best bet. Okay, so we haven't seen. I don't think that Goldengo Terrestrial yet. So this.
It did.
Did it?
Yeah, it's a steal.
Okay.
Because we were talking about how it's like it's smart because you get the Terastallize steal still with like the air balloon on there.
Oh no, it didn't.
Not sorry, not this game.
Oh yeah, no.
Game. I was like,
yeah. So what I'm thinking is if you're Vince, you kind of gotta take a risk. That Garchomp's gonna obviously outspeed, but it can't hit you because of Goldengo. I think if you're Vince, you're gonna Terrestrialize that Arcanine to normal, extreme speed on the Hydreigon, so because that might give you a chance. Knowing that you're gonna go down, but also that your Goldengo is gonna be see, I think if you're Vince, if you do that, you have a chance to pick it up and because Make It Rain will do solid damage. I've just got the feeling that I mean, if you Terrestrial to normal, you also avoid the Stomping Tantrum super effective damage.
Or the super effective damage, right?
Which I feel like that's the way to play it.
Yeah, but Sylveon here is actually also just like a really safe switch because you're at least going to protect that for later. Because it's your end game for that Goldengo, right? Yeah. Make It Rain, like if it like even if it hits, it's sure it could actually like pick up like that knockout on like that Sylveon. But at the end of the day, you don't really have the best answer for for Hydreigon with just the Goldingo. Arcanine for the Extreme
Oh,
Speed.
they did go for Extreme Speed and Terrestrial. Okay. And there's a Stomping Tantrum, which will probably pick up a KO here. Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to come down to basically Goldingo here. Well, first off, we're going to see Make It Rain. Definitely going to pick up a knockout on Sylveon, but is it going to pick up a knockout on Garchomp? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's still rough for Vince, right? Because you got Mana Special Attack. Hydreigon can it still Terastallize Fire. It can hit as long as it hits Heat Waves, which really is the toughest thing that you have to do here, and that's out of your control at this point.
Oh
right?
yeah,
like,
and it can be brutal. Tailwinds are gone on both sides. Yeah, I feel like basically
look, as long as Hydreigon doesn't miss.
What, I think 1 in 10 chance that it misses.
That's really all you're asking.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, did I jinx it?
You jinxed it.
Oh god, I jinxed it.
You jinxed it. Shadow Ball.
Really
okay,
sorry.
we'll see. Shadow Ball gonna hit.
Oh
How much damage is that gonna do?
Oh, like,
okay,
not
it
enough.
needs to one-hit this Goldingo.
Oh man.
It needs to
no way
one-hit
it
this
misses
Goldingo.
twice, right? There's no way.
Okay, Goldingo gonna protect. I don't.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I respect it.
Yeah.
You're playing. Look, all
Played
of Pokemon is just RNG manipulation, right? At this point, right? So there is a chance, right? Like, what if it misses this time too? Because then that's just honestly like a terrible way to go. But there is a chance you're gonna play to your outs here, and nope, it's not gonna miss it.
I've got a feeling that's gonna pick up that one hit.
It's a single target, effective with Terra. Like, there's no way it doesn't like knock it out.
All right, so Matt's gonna be able to pick up a win here, and we go 1-1. Goes to game 3, and that's where it makes these games exciting. You have no idea what can happen. I think both games have been pretty close. This one definitely the closest we've seen yet. I mean, that Hydreigon is down to like what, 40 HP?
Would game 1 have been really that close? It was kind of over after the
Hydreigon.
It was kind of over after the Hydreigon tailwinded for Vince, right? This one at least Matt adjusted kind of beautifully.
I think in that case it came down to maybe a possible damage roll on the mouse hold.
No, I think
because Arcanine's still KO.
It was definitely one of those that tailwind sort of turned things around for Vince.
Yeah.
The second game, I think Matt adjusted kind of beautifully, right? You were able to be like, hey, I recognize that speed in this particular like speed is usually like really like, you know, either whether it be Trick Room or Tailwind, it's really important in matchups. But being able to be like, hey, I need to match it here. But I also respect the play that Vince did that was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to Tailwind because I know you're going to Trick Room this turn, so I'm just going to double down into that Meowscarada. I actually like really appreciate that sort of like foresight into being like, hey, nah, you don't get Trick Room. Sorry about that.
So if you're here, I feel like one thing that's really interesting about Matt's team, and I think this may throw Vince off maybe a little bit, there's two potential Tailwind users. There is the Hydreigon and there's the Murkrow. You don't know which one's going to come out. They both are weak to Fairy, but you don't have Fairy. So you got to kind of plan accordingly which one's going to lead, and you know that you're probably going to lead with one of them because, like we were talking about, you need speed in this game. With Vince's team, there is both of those as well. I don't think Hydreigon does have Tailwind. So like it's another match where it's like you gotta plan for that. But the thing is, Matt has Sylveon, so Matt could potentially use that to his advantage. Obviously, you have to watch out for Goldingo, but if you're trying to knock out those Tailwind users right away, you can bring Sylveon in, and then something to handle the Goldingo, maybe Hydreigon. I feel like that might be a solid lead, but because then you can set up the Tailwind or knock out the Goldingo, and then Sylveon, if they're trying to set up Tailwind, you return the favor with a Hyper Voice, get rid of that setter, kind of force them into terrestrializing if they want to keep that Hydreigon. So I feel like there's a lot of really, like, it's one of those things where it's like kind of up in the air. All right, Mousehold Arcanine's back.
I mean, it worked fine, and Hydreigon Meowscarada as well, right?
Okay, this is, I think, a little bit better. Okay, Hydreigon. Okay, this is the tough part. So, Meowscarada it's maybe a roll, but it usually cannot knock out. I think Hydreigon being able to pick up a Tailwind right away, you can't because Meowshold's going to outspeed it. So you have to switch out, or if you have...
You switch out to Garchomp and then just be like, hey, you can hit me 10 times, that Rough Skin's going to knock you out. See, the hard part about that, too, is like, if you get 2 crits with a Meowshold into that Rough Skin Garchomp, it's still kind of rough for you, right? So, like... It's gonna be Garchomp. Show us the Garchomp.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Please. Yep. There it is. So if you population bomb into that spot, right, it's really rough for you. And I think we're gonna see either Murkrow or the Hydreigon come into here because you want that speed control for later. Oh no, double Garchomp.
All right. Garchomp mirrors. We get a knockoff on Mousehold. That's actually really smart because that's gonna get rid of the wide lens.
I really love that, right?
Oh, the population bomb onto the Meowscarada.
That's still a lot. That's still like. Oh gosh, one more?
That's it. Meowscarada's out.
Oof. Oh, that's actually really unfortunate, but I mean, hey, at least you got rid of the wide lens.
Yeah.
You know, that's
tough because Mousehold.
Ooh, that was
there's
unfortunate
nothing,
to watch.
and Hydreigon's got fire, so Garchomp's got ground. Yeah, there's nothing here that's gonna be able to. I think right now you gotta go for like. I would go Earthquake Protect here because that'll at least deal damage. Maybe Dragon Claw if you want a little more on the Mousehold, but.
I do love that, like, you're Vince and you look at what Matt leads and goes like, you know what? I'm just gonna ignore that Hydreigon. I care more about this Meowscarada. We're just gonna go after it.
Yep.
Right. And I think that was kind of like really fascinating to watch, just because even after you use the wide lens, you're just like, all right. I'm just gonna keep knocking things out, right? Like, it's just like, hey, there's 4 of us. That's 4 times as many like things to be threat. So wide lens, like being gone, no, don't even sweat about it. Like, we're still gonna hit like 6 out of the 10 here, and that's all we really needed.
And there's Mousehold switching out actually, which is very smart. We're gonna see Arcanine come back in. Yeah. Also, there's the Intimidate, but it's not going to work on the Garchomp thanks to the Clear Amulet. Gonna hit the Sylveon, but it doesn't really.
Sylveon goes like, oh no, my attack fell. Oh no, what do I do? I scream with special attack.
There's that Earthquake. Gonna do solid on the Arcanine. Probably not gonna KO because it is 2 Pokemon here instead of 1. Oh, very close though. Very close.
Oh, that one was definitely a roll on there. I think it could have knocked it out at that point.
Yeah, that was a lot more. And Dragon Claw here, yeah, it's gonna.
I mean, interestingly enough, though, Matt's Garchomp is faster, I'm pretty sure. I don't think this Garchomp is an extreme speed range. Sylveon's just going to be... Sylveon's actually in a spot to just hyper... Yeah, I was going to say we could just hyper voice and just go...
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Like, you know, you got Pixelate, we see that it's got Throat Sprayed on there, so you've got an extra special attack into it.
Yeah, even if Matt's Garchomp is in extreme speed range, Sylveon's still going to be able to probably pick up a KO on both. At least the Garchomp, maybe not Arcanine. I think Arcanine's a little... thinks that Citrus Berry is going to survive it, but it's not going to be like...
Yeah, that Garchomp is in a little bit of a tougher spot, right? Because now you have to decide, do you protect it or do you just risk the Hyper Voice hit?
We're going to see Arcanine switch out. I'm going to guess Golden Go?
Whatever's coming in here is not going to have a good time, because if it's the Goldango, it's still rough because that air balloon gets like
that air balloon's popped,
right?
And then your Garchomp's gonna be able to pick it up here.
Sylveon's having the time of its life. It's just sitting there going like, oh, there's 3 dragons. I'm gonna scream at things right now, and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I can hang on.
Okay, you know what? That's actually.
Dude, that's so nasty. Like, this tiny little evolution was like, I opened my mouth and things perish. Should have named it Banshee instead of Sylveon, honestly.
Okay, here's an interesting thing though, and maybe I feel Matt's got a chance. I'm sorry, Vince got a chance here because let's say that the last 2, we know Arcanine's one of them. If Goldengo's the other, Goldengo's got the air balloon, and you can extreme speed on the Sylveon. That may just be enough to knock out. Oh, it's Mousehold. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, he didn't bring a.
Yeah, he didn't bring Goldengo. Okay, so
Oh, because you know what? I can respect that because the Hydreigon Fire Terrastalize, right? Like that's threatening. You lose that.
I think here, you extreme speed on Garchomp and population bomb Sylveon. There's nothing else you can really do.
And you hope that that wide lens knockoff did not hurt you as much as it should have.
Which one do I'd imagine here?
Oh, how interesting! He's not gonna protect on that one.
I'd imagine here you'd Terrestrial Arcanine so you can pick up some extra damage on extreme speed. I mean, you can also Terrestrial Mousehold because population bomb did get knocked off, so you need the extra damage per hit, but. Okay, it's Arcanine, yeah. I think they're going to obviously extreme speed on the Garchomp, population bomb on Sylveon. I just hope that it does not go down. Hope that, like, you hit enough times without the wide lens. Okay, there's that.
I love that that's a thing that Arcanine can do for this. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a normal type now, and I'm going to extreme speed. That's actually, like... Really, like Vince was like, you know, I don't need Goldango to be a threat. I've got everything else. Is it gonna hit all of it?
It needs
to hit 4. Oh,
3.
Next one.
4. It hits, and it gets a crit.
That's just rude. That's just rubbing salt in the wound.
That really is. It's like a useless crit, literally. 3 HP.
I wonder. You know what? Heat Wave could actually still help this Hydreigon, right?
It's really gonna come down to Mousehold here. How many population bombs it can pick up? because it doesn't matter what the terrestrial is. Obviously, well, Heat Wave's obviously the right call on terrestrial.
He needs to.
Okay, this is an entirely luck-based match, which is so
Matt, your Hydreigon needs to not do what it did last game and miss a Heat Wave, and please,
not only that, but
it sucks. It sucks that like it always comes down to if this Heat Wave misses, you basically lose this game depending on how many times that match will hits you, right? Like the wide lens knockoff actually might help a lot. Like that would be wild. Extreme speed is
probably half.
Man, terrestrial is normal.
Yeah,
that's so gross.
All right, let's see how much.
Oh no!
It needs like 4 or 5 hits.
Oh! that Wildlands knockoff earlier! Holy crackers! Oh my god!
And the Heat Wave picks up the knockout, and it's Matt's game!
Oh my! That Masquerada, that turn 1 went, hey, this is gonna pay off now. Oh my god!
That is...
Oh my god!
That is like future-proofing if I've ever seen it in this game.
Hey, Matt, just want to let you know, your Hydreigon pulled freaking through, and your Meowscarada, that turn where the knockoff Meowscarada went, hey, say goodbye to that wide lens, and on the turn that it mattered the most. Oh my god! Holy! Wow! Oh my god! Holy crackers! That is insane.
Unbelievable.
Like, it just goes to show you how important something like that single item, because it's like you sit there and you're like, do I really need wide lens on my mouse? Yes, you absolutely 100%. If you're not putting wide lens on your mouse shield, stuff like that will happen to you, and then you will cry.
Unbelievable. That was one of the craziest finishes I've ever seen.
Like,
and with that, it pretty much assures Matt a spot in the top 8 because he's got now 4 at 1. Vince has got a chance too at being in top 8.
My heart rate is just like, I can't even imagine what Matt's feeling.
you feel the pressure times 10 when you're playing.
God, that was so stressful. That was good.
That was a great matchup.
I need to go calm down a little bit before we get to top cut. But that was the end of Swiss, so we will be seeing you for top 8 cut. Wow. Dang, Hydreigon.
We're gonna see if Matsu can carry it. We're gonna see if that Masquerada maybe it faces another mouse hold and knocks off again.
It brought the heat for real that game.
That was
yeah, let's go. So yeah, we will see you guys real soon. We'll have top 8 standings, and we'll be bringing you those 8 players who did make cut. Don't go anywhere. Actually, go hydrate because my heart is still racing from that.
Oh my gosh, that was insane.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in just a little bit. Okay.